Hey everybody, Rob Longo here again. I got a bit of a twist on the update for this month. So what I want to talk about this month is what's happening today actually at City Hall. Right now today, City Council is looking at a report, a strategic growth report for the next 25 years of the city of Sarnia. What is going to happen in 25 years, where the jobs are going to be, where the new residential development is going to be, where the new commercial development is going to be. What's the city going to look like in 25 years? And this is really important because it ties in directly to all the things that you've heard us talking about for the last year and a half about the lack of residential housing supply, about all of these housing units, and about the shortage of housing that we're having, not just in Sarnia, but southwestern Ontario as a whole. What they've come up with in this report for the city of Sarnia says that the city of Sarnia is going to grow by about 12% over the next 25 years. What does that really mean? Well, that works out to be about 500 people per year moving to Sarnia. 500 people probably sounds like a lot, but the way we have to frame of reference that is by comparing to other municipalities. Municipalities like, say, London, Woodstock, Windsor, Chatham-Kent, different things like that. 500 people per year for Sarnia would be like a 0.6% growth rate, less than 1%. Whereas areas like London, Woodstock are projecting 1.5%, 1.6%, 1.7%. So more than double, almost 3 times the growth rate that we're seeing projected for Sarnia-Lambton. One of the big questions that we always get from local people and out-of-town people is, why does the population of Sarnia never change? The population of Sarnia has been the same 70,000 people for like 30 years. Why doesn't it go up? When all these other communities, especially for a lot of us locally, obviously we've seen the growth and development happening in London right next door for the last 10 years, seeming to grow in every direction at an exponential rate, and Sarnia doesn't seem to really have that growth. The problem that I believe we're running into here is that by doing these reports, doing a 25-year report based on these past numbers, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we have no housing units, if we have no inventory for people to move from out of town into Sarnia, then no one is going to move from out of town into Sarnia. If we only create 50 new housing units every year, then we will only have 50 people move to Sarnia. If we created 500, then we would have 500 people move to Sarnia. The City of London last year set a record for number of most municipalities set records for new building permits last year with the boom that's happening. To give you an idea, London last year did 4,000 building permits for new housing units. 4,000 building permits. Sarnia did 96. Now, you say London's a lot bigger than Sarnia. That's absolutely correct. London's population is 405,000 people. They did 4,000 new building permits for housing units. That's about 1% of the population as a reference to new homes created. Sarnia did 96. If we had done 1% to keep on pace with London, we would have done like 700 to 750 new housing units. So it's not necessarily about trying to compare us to these bigger cities. Why aren't we growing like London? Why aren't we growing like these other centers? But when you scale it down to per capita or to percentage basis, is why are we not growing at the same rate as them? Not by the same number of people. And we firmly believe, we've been talking a lot the last couple months. A lot of you may have seen the letters that we've sent out from the Real Estate Board and from the Sarnia-Lambton Home Builders Association. We really believe that the lack of development that's happening in Sarnia is really stunting the growth of the population and the city as a whole. If we had more units available, then we could sell more units. Right now, from a real estate perspective, you hear us talking every month about how there's no units on the market, there's no houses on the market. We need more listing inventory. In order to balance the market right now from what is a very strong seller's market to a more balanced neutral market, not even a swing to a buyer's market, just to sort of balance things out, we would need between 300 and 400 homes or housing units, homes, apartments, condos, townhouses, different units to come on the market this week. So we have a shortage of about 300 to 400 homes. Even if you use the city of Sarnia's, what I think is extremely conservative numbers of 500 new residents here a year moving to Sarnia, take that, add that with our 300 to 400 housing unit shortage. Now we're talking 700, 800, 900 new housing units that literally could get created in Sarnia this year and will get grabbed instantly. filled with demand, and there would be no leftover inventory. Yet we have nowhere near the capacity or the zoning or the servicing capabilities to put in 500 to 1,000 new housing units next year. So this is the problem that we're facing with the city of Sarnia, and it's going to be an ongoing problem as if the city council puts this official plan in place. This is what's going to lock us in for the next 25 years of growth in Sarnia-Lambton, or potentially not much growth. The city is very pushing hard for Development Area 2, which is the Heritage Park subdivision, basically from Wellington to Confederation Streets. This is where they want to see all new development exclusively in Sarnia. Previously, we had Development Area 1 as well, which is Rapids Parkway, which basically by the end of this year, 2022, we should see pretty much fully developed. So there will be no more lots there. We saw about 5 years ago, the Brights Grove area became fully developed and built out, so there's no more lots there. Really, we're stuck with Development Area 2, which is just that Wellington Road corridor, which again, still is not ready, not serviced, not approved, not ready to go with the city anyway. So even if someone wanted to put in a subdivision there, we just aren't at the point where that's readily available at this point. So we're gonna have a huge crunch in Sarnia the next couple of years where we have no available land, we have no available lots for subdivisions and new homes. Once this Rapids Parkway fills and the last subdivision, or last phase, which is going in right now in Heritage Park, before we have any more new subdivisions added. That's why areas like Corunna and St. Clair Township and Kamlaki and Plimpton, Wyoming have been growing at such greater rates compared to Sarnia the last couple of years in terms of new homes and new building permits. Plimpton, Wyoming is building more homes every year for the last several years than Sarnia is. And obviously population difference is significant between those two centers. So that's what we need to see, is we need to see more development in Sarnia, in the city of Sarnia, and we need more development land. If we had more units, if we had 1,000 new subdivision units that came on the market this year, they would all be sold. And this is supply and demand 101. So we need to talk to our municipal councilors and our leaders and really encourage people to understand that, because that is going to create a problem, not just for the next year or the next 2 years, but this is going to create a long-term problem for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, as we will only grow by 500 people per year if that's the goal. If the goal is 500 people per year, then that's what it'll get. But if the goal is 2,500 people per year, then we could get after it, we can get to work, and we could get 2,500 new people into our community every year. So that's my 2 cents for the month. Like I said, we'll see what comes out of the council meeting today, and then hopefully have more information and kind of update things as they move along.